Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is PureFazz, and this is going to be a series of tutorials called How to Hearthstone, teaching beginners and the rest how to play the game properly. Because people don't know how to play the game properly. Open beta's coming out soon. It's going to be cool. Alright. So, this first few videos are going to be complete basic beginner. Like, you've only just started playing the game, maybe you just installed it, maybe you haven't even got your key yet, you're just ready for the game, because there's a lot of hype around this game as well. Okay. So yeah, it's going to be very basic, very tutorial-y, because let's be honest, the Hearthstone tutorial is less than brilliant. Blizzard aren't very famous for making great tutorials, and this is no exception. You only get a very basic understanding of how stuff works, and they don't even teach you about when you go second you get a queen card and stuff like that. So this is why I am here. There's a supplementary tutorial because some people can't play the game. Alright, so first we're going to jump into the game, and in this first video I'm going to be talking about the different class types that you get. So the best way to show a class type, go into collection, new deck, okay. And you see all the heroes here. So you get all the different class types. There's 9 of them. And they all play slightly differently. Some of them you can have like in between variants. But they all play differently. And so I'm also going to explain what this basic card thing means. Basically, when you first finish the tutorial and do some practicing, well, first off, you have to unlock every hero by playing against them. I think you start as the Mage, if I remember rightly. And yeah, you play against that hero and then you get the hero. But then once you do that, you need to unlock these 20 basic cards. Well, you don't need to, but they're the cards that are going to be useful for a beginner. Like, you start at level 25 and they're going to be useful. You get 20 of them, so for every 2 levels you go up, you'll get 2 cards. And there'll be identical cards as well. So you'll get 2 healing touches if you play the Druid, or you'll get 2 fireballs if you play the Mage, etc. And so yeah, you got to play in total the amount of games that it takes to get you to level 10. Yeah, when you get to level 10, that's when you've unlocked all the basic cards. So we're going to go through how each class plays individually of each other. So, to start off, the Warrior. And the Warrior plays very, as you can imagine, aggressively. So, I'm going to talk about these hero powers here. His hero power is to armor up. So, he gains 2 armor. So, every game you start with 30 health. And what the Warrior can do is, for a cost of 2 mana, he can increase his health by 2, basically. It's a permanent health increase, until the person knocks it down. So, really, there's very little difference between armoring up and increasing your base health. The only difference is that when you're healed, you won't heal back the armor. The armor is destroyed permanently once it is damaged. But for 2 mana, you can see that you could... some people get to about 50 health, including all this armoring stuff. There's armor boost cards as well for the Warrior. So you can basically just tank up, and when you get to a point where you can kill him in 1 turn with all your cards, you do it. And it's fantastic. Right, so the Warrior, very aggressive, very beat down. He's got a lot of charge cards, which means that as soon as he plays a minion, he can just go with him, because there's 0 mana charge cards, which are great. And yeah, just there's a lot of enrages as well, and enrage means when the minion takes damage, then he gains a buff in some way. And I will show these cards at some point, probably, unless I forget. Okay, but yeah, basically Warrior, beat down, kill in 1 turn, armor up, tank, hero. Alright, that's the Warrior. We're gonna go down. So the Paladin. The Paladin is a harder one to explain. He's kind of like a mix, I would say, between the Priest and the Warrior. Obviously it doesn't help because I haven't told you about the Priest yet. But he's got healing cards. So he's got Lay on Hands, which is, I believe, restore 8 health and draw 2 cards. I think it's 2 cards. And so he's got a few other ones like that. He's got a Guardian of Kings, which is your last basic card. The last basic cards that you unlock, which is like a 5/6 minion that heals you once it's played, which is a really nice card. But basically the Paladin is very spell heavy. There's spells that reduce every single minion's health to 1, so you can do that, and then you can use a Consecrate, which is another Paladin card, which means that all enemy minions, actually all enemy characters, take 2 damage. So you can imagine you can just completely wipe a board with those 2 card combinations. And yeah, the Paladin plays very slowly usually. It's not a very fast hero to play. It's more steady and thinking and reacting. And yeah, it's got some good cards. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, it's very reactive. I like it. Okay. Oh, the hero power. That was close, I almost forgot that. Reinforce. So you summon a 1/1 till hand recruit for 2 mana. Which means that you will, if you have enough mana, you will never have no minions on your side of the board. Which is a good thing, because in some cases, your opponent will be down to 1 health, and you'll both have, what, like 1 card, maybe 2 cards in your hand? In which case you play this Reinforce, you flip your hero power, and now you've got 1 damage dealer, and if his card is useless against it, you win. Well done. So yeah, it means that you can keep your board consistently active. Your side of the board. Okay, the Warlock. The Warlock is a very sacrificial class, I would say. Here we have a life tap, which is his hero power, which means that he will deal 2 damage to himself and draw a card. This is a fantastic hero power if you've got cards in your deck you just need a hunt for. You just keep life tapping. I generally, as a rule of thumb, I don't life tap below about 12, because then you start getting dangerously low on health. I mean, there are some combinations that can kill you even when you're in 30 health. There's a lot of warrior combinations that do that. But almost every class has the ability to kill you above 10 with some combination of cards. So it's quite a risky idea life tapping at that point. But it is a good advantage, because let's say you draw a card at the beginning of your turn, you're like, damn, I need that 1 card in order to pull off a combo and win. In which case you just life tap. And also another interesting case is if you're gonna die anyway. So say you're really low on health, like you're on 5 health. He's got an 8/8 taunt on the board, which the Druid has an 8/8 taunt. So you've got a card that kills a minion. So you just say, well, it's in the deck somewhere, so I'm gonna life tap and draw a card. And if you draw that card, great. Either you delay the game, or you give yourself a chance to draw more cards. Maybe even heal yourself. Although as a Warlock, there's generally not many heal yourself cards, but there are neutral heal yourself cards. But yeah, the Warlock, very sacrificial play. Murloc Warlock is very popular class minion choice, because the amount of cards that a Warlock can draw means that the Murlocs can get out so quickly compared to doing it with other classes. It's a very potent combination, and the Warlock is a very fun class to play in my opinion. Now, the Shaman. As you can see, I've not played a single game as the Shaman, and that's because it is the class that attracts me least. I really do not like the idea of the Shaman. It's basically I've never seen like a beat-down Shaman, like a fast-paced Shaman, which is no problem, because I mean, like I said, I like the Paladin, and that's quite a slow class. But with the Shaman, he's very coin flip. So this hero power, Totemic Call, summons a random totem. There's, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 totems to choose from. There's a healing one, there's an increase in spell damage one, there's a taunt one, and there's just a 1/1 minion one, and I think that's it. Maybe there's probably more, but it's too much of a coin flip. Like, you may rely on it to be the taunt one, but you've actually in reality only got a 1/5 or a quarter of a chance of choosing that one. So I don't like it. It's too chancey. In general though, the Shaman has a lot of these cards called Overload, which I'm actually going to go into this and show you an Overload card. Yeah. So this, Forked Lightning. You deal 2 damage to 2 enemy random minions for 1. That sounds fantastic. What a good card, right? But then you see this Overload. An Overload is basically like paying taxes. So next turn, you've played this card on the cheap, and next turn you have to pay it back. You lose 2 mana next turn. So let's say you play this turn 1. I don't know why you would, because no one's going to have 2 minions out turn 1. But let's say you play this out turn 1. The next turn you'll have no mana to do with the second turn, because you'll have 2 mana and that will be gone because of your Overload tax, which is what I like to call it. I don't like the idea of this, because I like to plan ahead for my next turns, and if I'm being overloaded and I forget that, then I'm like, well, crap, now I lose. That's just my personal preference, though. So, I mean, some people really like it. I think I've got a few Shaman cards. But yeah, the style is very slow, and get these boost totems. Oh yeah, that's as a totem that increases 1 attack to the adjacent minions, which is a very good one actually. I think that's the best one. And yeah, it's very get up a big army without the other guy actually realizing that it's a big army, and then you just kill him over and over again. Do I have, yeah, this card. This is an amazing card. I actually think that it's too good. You summon 2 2/3s with Taunt, which is crazy. 3 mana. Overall it costs 5, including the Overload tax. But even for 5 mana, there are some neutral minions that cost 5 mana, and you'll get a 5/4 Taunt out of it. In fact, I can show you that card. Where is he? Where's the goblin? There he is, Booty Bay Bodyguard. It's a 5/4 for 5, and we just looked at a Shaman who can summon 2 2/3s for 3. Dude, that's crazy. I don't like that. I mean, it's great if you're playing the Shaman. I mean, definitely put that in the deck. But I mean, I don't really like the Shaman. I don't like the style. It's not for me. Let's just delete that. Okay, next. Hunter. Hunter is an interesting one. Way back when closed beta was not maybe new, but midway through its session. I mean, it's almost open beta, so we'll call this the end of closed beta. But about midway through, the Hunter was unstoppable. It was very hard to kill a Hunter because simply of this card, Unleash the Hounds. For each enemy minion, summon a 1/1 Hound with charge. Sounds good. Sounds really good. It was better. They changed the whole dynamic of that card. What that card used to do is that used to give all of your minions charge, and it would give them a buff, which was crazy. Basically, it meant that a Hunter could win in 1 turn, regardless of how much health the other guy had, because you've got all these beasts that play together well. I mean, I haven't unlocked all the Hunter cards, but if you see, there's even a lot of beasts here, like the Angry Chicken. That's probably a bad example. Then you got the Boars, Wind Fury, Young Dragon Hawk. But yeah, there's a lot of beasts, and all of these cards, look, summon a random beast companion. Whenever you summon a beast, draw a card. You can just draw, and then you unleash the hounds, and then in 1 turn, you kill the other guy. Which, I mean, for a Hunter, apparently it's great. But as someone going against Hunters, I got a little bit angry sometimes. But yeah, it's now more, I don't know, I mean, that's still a good card, but it's more worth the cost now. Hunter is very little guys beating down on you eventually until you don't realise that you're suddenly on 12 health and he can actually probably kill you next turn. And it's also got this explosive trap, which is like one of the best secrets in the game. Whenever your hero is attacked, deal 2 damage to all enemies. That's crazy. Because let's say you're doing Hunter v Hunter, which means that you're likely to not have many minions on your side with over 2 health. In which case you've just cleared his whole board, leaving you free party in order to just kill him. But yeah, Hunter very aggressive, very clearing. There's a lot of clear cards. So by clearing I mean just killing minions, like with spells like Arcane Shock, deal 2 damage, change your minion's health to 1. Change your minion's health to 1. You can have an 8/8 minion, change your health to 1, deal 2 damage and it's dead. And that only cost you 1 mana. That's crazy. There's this multi-shot as well, which is deal 3 damage to 2 random enemy minions. That's another clearing card, which is great. But yeah, it's very about removal, kill you in 1 turn. That's basically the hunter. Nope, go away. Okay, and the next one is Mage. I like the Mage. Mage is funny. Mage is funny. I say Mage is funny because it's interesting how it plays. I'm just going to go into it now. There's a lot of these spell cards, as you can see. Okay, missiles. Oops. Okay, missiles. Ice Lance. Mirror Image. I mean, that's a spell that summons minions. And you got this spell, cost 1 less, Frostbolt, and all the freezing spells work together. Frost Nova, Cone of Cold, Water Element, Blizzard. All it works together. And Mage is very about just dealing damage directly to you being the hero, and when you've taken enough damage, I don't know, you'll find yourself with a water elemental out, and then the mage plays a big creature, and you've just got no way to deal with it, because if you play a big creature, you can polymorph it. And polymorph is probably one of the greatest cards in the game. It's just crazy. Fireball, it's very clearing. It's quite similar to the hunter in the way that you're clearing a lot of stuff, but instead of playing lots of minions, you're just dealing damage. And of course you do have minions. I mean, you got the neutral minions, but as you can see in here, there's 1 minion, 2 minion, 3 minion. There's 3 minions. I mean, I haven't got all the mage cards clearly, but you can see in this, that's out of 8, so 3 out of 16. Oh, there's one here as well. 3 out of 17 is minions, and let's see, 1 removal, 2 removal, 3 removal. Well, I don't know, that's kind of removal. That's more like delay the removal, but it's still technically removal. Delay / removal. Yeah, you see my point. Removal, yeah. Clearly, this is very similar to the hunter in some ways, but the style of it is more kill you instead of kill all your minions, because I actually don't need to deal with your minions because they're all frozen. Okay. The rogue. This is an interesting one. Okay. I just realised I haven't explained the last 2 hero powers. Let me do that incredibly quickly. Shaman. No, this is a hunter. Damn it. Okay, the hunter. Steady shot. Deal 2 damage directly to the enemy hero. That's a great power because I don't know, but every time I've gone against a hunter, I've never factored in the fact that they can do that. I've always been like, okay, so he can deal 4 damage to me next turn with his minions, which means that I can survive for 1 more turn, and then he steady shots me, and I'm like, oh well, good game. It's just a pain in the arse. As a hunter, you'll actually probably get annoyed at it as well, because you'll be like, damn it, I wish I could hit a minion with that instead of him. But I don't know, it depends on your perspective. Mage, you have a fire blast, deal 1 damage to anything. You can deal it to your own minions, which sounds stupid, but there are some minions that get better, like I've said, they get better when they take damage, so this is a great ability in that case. Yeah, target anything, you can target them. I mean, it's a spell, so you don't have to hit taunters, etc. Yeah, it's a good power. Rogue. The rogue's power, dagger mastery. Equip a 1/2 dagger. So this is like when the hero equips a weapon, which also, as soon as they do it, the hero can attack. There's not like a summoning sickness or whatever it's called in this. I know it's called summoning sickness in Magic the Gathering, but a 1/2 dagger. So that's quite good. I mean, the 2 represents the durability, so it will last for 2 turns. Well, twice. You can use it twice. Not necessarily 2 turns, but yeah, it's quite a good power. There are some buffs for it, like I think it's called Poison. It might just be called Poison. But yeah, you increase it to a 3/2, I think, which is a good buff. But yeah, the hero, the rogue, I will show you the rogue. The rogue plays very removal, extremely removal actually. It's very removal and kill in 1 turn. It's quite similar to the hunter, but with less minions. So look here, backstab, do 2 damage to an... Oh, there you go, deadly poison, that's the one I was talking about. Backstab, deal 2 damage to an undamaged minion. That's crazy. That's really good. For 0 mana, you get that. Shadow Step. Turn a friendly minion into your hand, costs 2 less. That's good. These are great cards. Sinister Strike. I've been killed a few times as that, and that was the finishing card. Fan of Knives. 1 damage to all enemy minions. There's a lot of removal. It's quite similar. So you return an enemy minion to the hand. You've got quite a few good minions as well, actually. This Assassin's Blade's a good card, actually, as well. Assassinate. Just outright destroy a minion for 5. That's a good card. I mean, you can see it's very much about the removal here. And yeah, the Rogue is just an all-round fast-hitting class. I mean, it depends what neutral minions you put in it, but in general it tends to be quite fast, remove, and then you play a bunch of stuff, and he'll reply with some more minions, and you just kill them, and then you start dealing damage, and yeah, and then eventually you'll win. So that's the Rogue. Did I explain the hero power? Druid, my personal favourite. The Druid's power is to shapeshift, which means that it's similar to the Rogue's, whereas the Rogue gets a 1/2 dagger. Shapeshift means that you get 1 attack. So you get the 1 damage that you would get from the dagger, and you get an armor. So basically, it's a mixture of the Rogue and the Warrior, in the way that you gain armor, which is permanent, and you gain attack, which is for 1 turn only. But the Druid plays very slow, usually very beat down, it's not a very kill in 1 turn. I mean, it can be, because you've got these Mark of the Wild cards, and you got, there's quite a bit of slowness, which is why they've got cards like Innovate, which is a very acceleration card. I mean, if you think about it, if you are going second, so you get the coin, and you draw 2 Innovates, and so what? That's 5 mana on turn 1, right? That you just got 5 mana on your first turn. To put that into perspective, that means that you can play a Silver Hand Knight, or actually that's probably a good play on turn 1 because the other guy isn't going to get much before that. Whenever it takes damage, gain 3 attack. Fantastic! This is brilliant. That's really good, that Innovate. But the problem is that it's a bit of a deck filler in the way it works. I'm not a big fan of putting it in all of my Druid decks. I mean, I'll put it in there sometimes, but you've also, well, is it this one? Yeah, you've also got Wild Growth, which is gain an empty mana crystal. So that's more acceleration. So if you've got a very, very late game Druid, you want all the acceleration you can get in this. You also want a lot of removal, which is why there's a lot of these deal 1 damage, and Claw, which means you increase your hero's stats. Savagery, quite a good card. I haven't had the chance to use it properly yet. Naturalize, just a good removal card. I've won a game actually quite recently where the last thing that he played was an 8/8 Taunter, which was actually that one. It was an 8/8 Taunt, and I naturalized it and won. It didn't matter that he drew 2 cards. He didn't get his turn because I killed him. Okay. Yeah, Druid, very removal. Swipe, great removal card. It's also very heavy and powerful. Look, you got this charge and taunts, and it gets crazy. I obviously don't have all the Druid cards, but there's a fantastic one, which I can show you if I go into crafting mode, called Force of Nature. What a fantastic card. Summon 3 2/2 treants with charge that die at the end of the turn. That means you can do 6 damage in 1 turn. If they have no taunters, you can just outright do 6 damage if you play that card. If you play this card, which is a good card. That's a fantastic card. But yeah, like I said, you got lots of healing here as well. You got the pretty healing one. Buff, gain crystals, acceleration, minion with a death rattle, buff, heal, removal, acceleration, buff. You get the point. Right, it's very slow, very heavy, hard-hitting class. And finally, got the Priest. The Priest is a very, well, first, the hero power lesser heal, restore 2 health to anything. It can even be the opponents if you really want, and in some cases that's actually a good thing, surprisingly. But yeah, just restore health. It's quite good. I'm not such a big fan of this because I just see it as delaying, and sometimes that's good, but sometimes it's not. And you can see a situation where you're just healing for the sake of it at a point. So you're gonna die, but you're healing just to be annoying. But yeah, the priest cards very healy, as you can imagine. Restore 4 health to all minions. Lightwell, restore 3 health. But it's also very aggressive. So that's a fantastic. Look at that. That's removal and healing. 2 damage to all enemies. Restore 2 health. That's great. What a great card. Yeah, this card has come under some controversy recently. The cost used to be 8, and now it's 10. And you're probably thinking, wow, that's 10. But I mean, you can mind control a legendary, at which point the other guy will start crying. So as you can see, it's probably worth the 10, actually. If not, it's actually still probably a little bit overpowered. There should probably be a little bit of a penalty to using it. But the priest is actually surprisingly aggressive as well with the amount of removal that he has. Look at this. Destroy a minion with 3 or less attack. Wow, that's a lot of minions that you can kill with that card. Look, destroy a minion with an attack of 5 or more. If you really wanted to make an anti-priest deck, just put thousands of... Well, I say thousands. Put loads of minions in with 4 attack. Because he won't be able to do anything about it. He'll have, okay, 5 or more, 3 or less, well, I lose. But yeah, there's a lot of these removal cards. This is a nice card, actually. I like this. I want the other one, actually. How much does it cost? 100, damn it. But, yeah. So, basically, once you play this, your hero power goes from, there it is, restoring 2 health, and it goes to deal 2 damage. Which is basically, like, if the hunter and the mage had a child, that's the hero power it would have, right? But yeah, that's a very good ability. There's also a shadow form card, which I can show you in crafting mode, I believe. Shadow form... Oh, too far. Where is it? Shadow form, there it is, 3 damage. 3 mana. Your hero power becomes deal 2 damage. If already in shadow form, 3 damage. See, now that's a good card. Because now you can remove a lot. That's a lot of removal you got there. But yeah, it's a lot of deal 2 damage. Silencing. So silencing is when you... yeah, so if you silence the Northshire Cleric, which says that whenever a minion is healed, draw a card. You silence that, it just becomes a 1/3. It's useless. Well, it's not useless. It's a 1/3 minion. But it gets rid of the buff, is the point. Yeah, there's a lot of these increase health cards, restore health cards, blah blah blah. Mind Blast, deal damage directly to the hero. Temple Enforcer, it's just a standard minion thing that heals when it's played. Yeah, that's basically the priest. There's a lot of heal, a lot of remove. The style tends to be beat down, I feel. Oh, or at least the times I've played against it. It's never been extremely fast, but it has been slow, and it has been aggressively just hit you, ping, 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 and then eventually you'll die. But it takes some time. But that's how the priest plays. Now, is there anything I've missed? Or have I covered everything? Let's have a look. So, gone through all the hero powers. I've explained every class and how the style works. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did that. Yep. And yeah. So, now, you know, you may have an idea of which class is your favourite. I mean, without even playing, you could probably tell from what it looks like. I mean, some people just go, oh, well, the Paladin looks cool, I'll play the Paladin. But yeah, so I hope that this has helped someone in any way to determine what class they want and how they want to play the game. And yeah, I hope that this tutorial helps someone. I'm going to make the next one of these at some point, and that one will be about card buffs. Well, maybe not buffs, but like an Enrage. I'm going to explain what all this stuff does properly instead of just the very shallow overview that I've given right now. So yeah, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, but I swear to God, if I see any spam about getting a free Hearthstone key, I will turn comments off. I'm not above that. every single Hearthstone playthrough I've seen has those. So, yeah. But yeah, anyway, that will be it for today. Thank you very much.